Kuzangplan, welcome. You're watching our weekly news magazine program, Bhutan This Week, and I'm Cheku. Now let's take a look at the top stories this week. Human-elephant conflict continues in Samtsi. Transition planning to change lives of children living with disabilities. And the country's largest multi-sports complex to be ready in a few weeks' time in Bhutan. And now the details. It has been over 2 decades since the people of Tashichuling, Geok and Samtsi have been living with elephants in their farmlands. Gradually, this trend has been coming in at a big price for the villagers. Most villagers in the Geok depend on cash crops as their only source of income. But the wild Asian elephants have constantly damaged these sources of income, such as maize, paddy and areca nut plantations. Our Samtsi Bureau correspondent, Sharab Doji, sent us this special report.
The endangered Asian elephants used to forage on the maize fields and destroy paddy plantations in the past years. Now, these elephants are not sparing the areca nut plants as well. Reports of mass destruction of areca nut plants have been recorded across the 5 chioks of Tashicholing Geok. Recently, I went to Tashicholing to see for myself how villagers are living life on the edge along with the elephants. It's about 10 p.m. right now, and the Forest Range Office in Tashicholing has been alerted of a sighting of 2 elephants in Peljuling Chiok. I'm heading to Peljuling Chiok right now to catch the 2 elephants in action. When I reached near the Chiok, the forest rangers were already gathered, ready to chase away the herd with their torchlights. I joined them and we rushed to the spot where the villagers first spotted the elephants. So we reached here at Peljuling, and as soon as we reached to the site, one of the villagers informed us that there are actually 3 elephants, and I think the noise with which we came here alerted the elephants, and now we cannot find them. So we are keeping silence right now so that the elephants will come out again. Moments later, we were alerted that 3 elephants have entered areca nut plantation nearby, and there they are, retreating into the dense forest. It is a herd of a male, female and a young elephant. As they escaped into the forest, we were informed that the damage has already been done. 10 areca nut plants belonging to Jeevan Kumar Chetri have been damaged.
Last time when they came, they damaged 8 plants. On the second time, 4 plants, and today they have damaged 10 plants. I think they didn't even take 10 minutes to damage the 10 plants.
The elephants appear again down the village, and we kept chasing the herd until there were no signs of the elephants coming back that night. The next morning, I went to other villages to see if the elephants have caused other damages. There were no other reports of damages by those 3 elephants last night, except for the 10 areca nut plants that were damaged here. And I was told this morning that those 3 elephants, while coming through this way, have damaged a teak tree on the way. K.N. Sharma is a retired civil servant who stays at Singiga in Tashicholing.
When elephant comes, the elephants break these leaves only first, and they eat this leaves trunk only first. When they start breaking these leaves up to the height, when they could not reach the height, they will break down the trees, plants, and they started this tree to break down by their feet. And after breaking it, there is a small piece of white cells inside this plant. They will eat only that white plant.
Villagers here started raising areca nuts after they have had enough with the elephants destroying their maize and paddy plantations.
At first, I earned about 10,000 ngitam from the areca nut. Then after that, about 50,000 ngitam. Last year, I got about 60,000 ngitam. Now I was expecting about 80 to 90,000 ngitam, but the elephants have destroyed most plants. It's disheartening to stay like this.
The range office in the past has installed electric solar fencing, but the project was not entirely successful. This year, the damage to crops has been among the highest over the years since the elephants attacked the areca nut plants. A single areca nut plant is valued to give a minimum of 24,000 newton in its lifetime. Records with the Forest Range Office show that in July alone, more than 6.6 million newton lifetimes worth of areca nut plants were damaged in 5 chokes in Tashicholing Gyeok. The Department of Forest's Territorial Division, along with the Forest Range Office in Tashicholing, has recently piloted with the installation of infrared sensors, motion detectors, and camera traps.
So these equipments are early warning system. We call it sound alert system also. The sensors which detects the object coming in within the radius of 15 meter of the machine. So it suddenly the infrared catches and the sensor detects the moving object, elephant or any, could be any objects. So it gives the sound and simultaneously clicks the picture also with the video clip.
Footage captured in the camera traps show the elephants changing course when the flashlights and sirens from the system is triggered.
Any wild animals which come near this machine, we know it. This machine alerts us. If the machine is not there, we won't even know when the animals have come in. This machine has benefited us a lot.
Life is an everyday struggle for the people here, and today, as night falls, the battle with the elephants will resume again. But for now, villagers will have to make do with shouting and torchlights. Sharab Doji, BBS News, Tashicholing, Samse.
With the increase in aging population in the country, the number of dementia cases is on the rise. 2018 saw the highest number of dementia patients with 33 cases as per the 2019 Annual Health Bulletin. The figure increased by 15 from 2017. And dementia is a condition where there is deterioration of the memory, thinking, behavior, and the ability to perform everyday activities. Although dementia mainly affects older people, it is not a normal part of aging.
The Annual Health Bulletin mentions that the decline in death and fertility rates has resulted in population aging and rising dependency. The aging population is expected to grow rapidly over the years, thereby putting pressure on the existing health system. Bhutan recorded dementia cases for the first time in 2016, with 21 cases as per the bulletin.
A lot of people are living beyond 71. 71 is an average, which means a lot of people who survive adulthood probably live longer now into 80s and 90s. So it's not very surprising that dementia cases are increasing in Bhutan. We should expect this all over the world. We are not a different species of human beings. So if you live longer, you have more chances of having dementia. But that's not to say all people who become old become demented. But the risk or the incidence rises as you cross certain age groups, especially after 60.
As per WHO, around 50 million people have dementia worldwide. It is one of the major causes of disability and dependency among older people. Early stages of dementia are often overlooked as it gradually develops. Some of the symptoms include forgetfulness, losing track of time, and becoming lost in familiar places. The late stage of dementia is severe and includes symptoms like becoming unaware of time and place, having difficulty recognizing relatives and friends, need for increased assisted self-care, difficulty in walking, and experiencing behavior changes that may escalate and include aggression.
Dementia affects the brain. The brain cells start dying as you become older, obviously. but also some pathological changes happen in the brain as you become older, and that leads to memory loss. Basically, your brain, start losing its capacity to function.
According to new guidelines issued by WHO in May this year, people can, however, reduce the risk of dementia by getting regular exercise, not smoking, avoiding alcohol, controlling weight, eating a healthy diet, and maintaining healthy blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar levels. As per a study conducted by National Statistics Bureau in 2017, elderly people have low access to healthcare services due to their immobility and face problem accessing services in hospitals due to overcrowding. The study suggests that it is crucial to have geriatricians who can better understand and treat old age diseases that ultimately promotes healthy aging. Sunampem for BBS News.
The herbal medicines provided by the National Traditional Medicine Hospital in Thimphu have been successful in helping people quit their alcohol and tobacco addictions. In 4 years, more than 4,300 people have sought medication for alcoholism, from which the hospital says over 1,000 people have been able to quit their addictions. The medicines were originally introduced to cure liver and lung-related diseases.
47-year-old Pimawangda from Mongar was once an alcoholic. He was unable to give up this habit for the past 30 years. But with the help of the herbal medicines, he was able to quit drinking. He took the medication for a full month, after which has been alcohol-free for the past 8 months.
I tried to quit for a year, but I could not. Then later I heard of this herbal medicine and I tried this medicine. Now I have become clean and it has been almost 8 months. This medicine helped me a lot in quitting alcohol.
Pema's brother Chongdoji says his life has changed drastically compared to before.
I
was a student when he was an alcoholic. He was a very heavy drinker and I never thought he would be able to quit. Since I work at the hospital, I came to know about the medicine. I encouraged him to take this herbal medicine and the Tungso also gave him counseling on the harmful effects of alcohol. After the medication, he has changed his life drastically.
Similarly, Sangedoji also shares how his relatives were to quit drinking with help of the medicines.
My brother was an alcoholic for the last 10 years, but he couldn't quit. My brother came to know about this medicine and asked me to get the medicine for him. This medicine has helped him in quitting alcohol. After that, even my brother-in-law, who was an alcoholic, asked me to bring this medicine. This medicine has helped them both in quitting alcohol.
The medicines were initially prescribed to treat liver and lung-related diseases, but its effects in helping people quit addiction were discovered by Junsutantifop.
We have a record of around 30 people in a month who were able to quit alcohol after taking the medicine. From 2015 till now, I have prescribed these medicines to about 4,000 patients within 4 years. Out of this, around 80% of the patients could give up alcohol. Some lived far away from Thimphu and could not continue their medication. This could be one of the probable reasons. At the same time, counseling is also important.
Tungsutandipup, however, added the medicines are just facilitators. He added the success of the medication ultimately depends on a person's determination to quit such habits. Choni Dama for BBS News.
Children living with disabilities tend to stay at home throughout their lives, and they miss out on learning any life skills, in most cases leading them to depend on others for a living. But all of these children living with disabilities could lead lives on their own if parents and teachers are aware about transition planning. In transition planning, parents and teachers prepare children living with disabilities for productive adulthood, and they plan and help children transition through various phases of life.
Every individual goes through transition phases, childhood to adulthood. Likewise, for children with disabilities, they transition from home to daycare centers and then to pre-primary schools and so on. Karma Sonam Doji has a child who has some form of disability, but she is aware of transition planning. When you are not aware or do not have a transition plan for your child, you tend to look at the disabilities and you ignore on identifying or developing your child's skills.
We parents, most of the time what we think is when we have a child with disability, the first thing we realize is what our child cannot do. We never look at the child's abilities, never what can our child or our children do. So I think this is where we need to change our mindset and work with our children on the areas that they are good at, where they have the strengths.
Transition planning both at home and at school has helped her child develop over the years.
Before, he was not able to, he didn't have any of his peers to play with, to socialize, what it means to be socializing, what it means to, play with his own age groups, what it means to learn, the knowledge he gains. And I think with the transition planning from our side, from the parent side, as well as from the school, in terms of building the school's capacity and equipping the school with the tools to cater to our children's needs, it has really helped my child.
Hejo Daycare in Thimphu, an inclusive center, practices transition planning. The center has about 100 children and 8 of them have some form of disabilities. The center works closely with parents to help transition children with disabilities for primary schools.
So this is what we do with the children who come into our ECCDs, especially for children with learning disabilities. Or what this documentation does is it helps parents and the center focus on specific goals that we need to work on for the children for a specific amount of time. So the goals are thought out by the parents and the center together. We map it out together and then we work on them for 4 months. And then after that, the goal is revised and then we work on the next transition plan.
Similarly, Changankha Middle Secondary School in Thimphu has 64 children with various forms of disabilities. They identify children's capabilities and disabilities and put them into various classes. The physically challenged without cognitive disabilities are put together in the mainstream classes, while those who are cognitively challenged are taught various life skills depending on their ability to learn. The school has 4 pre-vocational clubs to transition children with disabilities to other institutions once they attain the age of 16.
And one day, 10 years from now, 30 years from now, we have to think of where will these children go? Who will take care of these children when their parents are not there? So we need to make a life for these children. That is more, the transition is so important for children's life because they have to live their life one day by their own.
19 students went on transition to Dokso Vocational Training Center in Thimphu from Changankha School between 2013 and 2016. Bhutan Foundation is helping parents and teachers build and implement transition plan.
It allows a parent to envision the child beyond the current stage right now. It allows the parents to actually plan like what will my child be in the next 5, 10 or 20 years? How will my child be maybe being productive? How would my child be giving back to society? So it answers these questions for a parent. And so that's why we encourage parents to have a transition plan for their child so that the child can, again, like I mentioned earlier, be more productive and have a meaningful life.
Special education experts recommend that parents of children with disabilities begin thinking about transition or planning for adulthood as early as possible. 16 is considered formal transition age for youths where they should have their plans, goals and dreams identified as per their needs and interest. Pupgame for BBS News.
Poor tendering and selection process, vague terms and conditions of contracts, delayed payments and dispute, and post-execution settlement are some of the major problems with the Bhutanese construction industry. According to the Construction Development Board, local contractors still do not give much consideration to the contract documents. To bring about a change, an international construction business program was held in Thimphu recently.
Bhutan has a short history of modernity. However, the pace of development has been fast and vigorous. This has given a great opportunity for contractors. However, there is a huge room for improvement. The Works and Human Settlement Minister said still around 80% of the works are either not completed on time or do not meet the standards. One possible solution to these problems could be FIDIC, or the International Federation of Consulting Engineers. It is a widely used guidelines relating to bidding and material procurement practices in the construction industry. The forum is to inculcate the basics of various documents of FIDIC, fundamental principles of contract, and advocate best construction dispute settlement practices.
If you look at it, it boils down to one main cause: understanding of contract. Anything that we do is all based on contracts. If you know FIDIC very well, the size is not really that too significant because you're using the same contract, the same engineer, the same contractor, and it's a good training ground. So if I'm a small contractor and I learned about FIDIC, then it would be easier for me to get the bigger job because everything hinges on contracts.
The Ethical Code of Conduct for Contractors 2019 was also launched during the forum. This document will guide Bhutanese contractors to conduct construction businesses with professionalism, integrity, and accountability, ensuring sustainable construction with quality.
Already ethic committee is being formed. So if there is any breach of this conduct, so there are some penalties that the committee will take on the contractors. The contractors, they have a bigger responsibility, so they have to take the ownership of carrying out the work with quality, on time, and without any cost overrun. So the contractors must, we are trying to put the contractors on toe that they have a bigger responsibility once they sign the contract.
The government have to spend a lot of money in construction, and this code of conduct will help make contractors accountable and improve the system. This is Komal Kharka for BBS News.
With its first artificial turf football ground all set, Bhutan is also expecting to have the country's largest multi-sports complex ready in a few weeks' time. The construction of the structure is finally nearing completion after the deadline was extended twice for various reasons. Works to construct the sports structure began in 2017.
Right above the new artificial turf football ground at Chamkar is the multi-sports complex, which is now almost ready. Some site development and clearing works are ongoing at the moment. Toughened glasses were attached yesterday. Bhutan Construction Private Limited, who is carrying out the project, said they will hand over the building to Bhutan Olympic Committee soon.
For now, our project is almost completed. So right now we are just doing the site developments work, cleaning the buildings and all, some kind of rectification work, some little bit of touch-ups, cleaning, and plastering work, rectification work as such, like plastering, cleaning up the toilets and everything. So within a period of 1 week, we're gonna finish all our works, remaining works, and we're gonna hand it over to the BOC.
The completion date for the construction of the structure was extended as the foundation of the building had to be redesigned due to marshy construction site. Another reason was due to the harsh winter months, due to which all concrete works had to be stopped. The Bhutan Olympic Committee plans to hand over the complex to Bhutan Sports Association by next week. And Bhutan Sports Association will outsource the purchase and setup of sports equipment once the association takes over the infrastructure from BOC. The complex will have a gym, table tennis court, a basketball court, and 3 badminton courts, besides spaces for an office and a conference hall. There will also be a rental space and a canteen. The government of India funded the 74 million Ngitam project. Kipchu, BBS News, Bhutan.
And that is it only for this week's edition of the Bhutan This Week program. Until next time, I'm Cheku, signing off only for now.